In line with my fake empowerment series, I want to talk about situationships, because this is a setup that allows women to be exploited. We are told that this is us being liberated, when in fact it is just us allowing ourselves to be exploited by men. The only benefit of a situationship is to the man. I don't care which way you twist it and bend it. The sex is of the benefit to the man. Women need connections to have good sex. And if they don't need a connection to have good sex, it's because they have learned to sufficiently disconnect from the situation at hand and work in their head in order to get that hit. And even with that woman disconnecting mentally in order to reach that place, assuming she actually does, even with that, the body will still release that oxytocin and act as though that person is a viable, suitable candidate to have a family with. So they get all of it. They get you bonding with them, even if you don't want to, even if you tell yourself out of your mouth that you're not bonding, you actually are, because it's a biological thing that happens to women when they have sex with men, because we are the ones that create babies. So we need to be bonded to the person that we have the baby with. That is what that's about. That is one of the functions of oxytocin, to bond. And we lie to ourselves about this. We say, oh no, I can do it just like them, but actually you can't. Physically, mentally, emotionally, hormonally, you actually can't. You know who can do that? Men. Men can do that all day long, 24/7. That is what separates you from men. So in order for them to get their kicks, society has now convinced women that it's empowering for you to let men do that to you without any strings attached. And to make matters worse, that bonding that happens makes you very, very vulnerable to toxic, narcissistic, and abusive dynamics. Because now you're bonded to someone who doesn't care for you at all, just wants one thing from you, and is okay with pumping and dumping. Aside from whatever psychological, narcissistic problems that they might have. That on its own is already dangerous. But if you add the level of narcissistic behavior from men around the world, we can't be doing these situationships, ladies. Whenever you enter into a situationship with a guy, you're setting yourself up for a fall. And also, you're not really benefiting from it. It makes no sense. But society has managed to convince us that it does. Which shows us what? That they're not really on our side. They're not really about protecting women, because that would be the worst kind of situation for any woman to put themselves in. Situationships, one night stands, all of these are dangerous. You don't know who you're laying down with. Yes, you might start off with it being consensual, but what happens when those doors are closed? You don't know, and you don't know that person. All you know is that person is willing to get their rocks off. That's what you know for certain. That is not a good foundation for anything, whether that be emotional or sexual. Ladies, let's stop drinking this Kool-Aid, because honestly, it's getting us nowhere and giving those who benefit from it an all-access pass, whilst keeping us vulnerable to toxic, narcissistic, and abusive dynamics. Absolutely not. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments, and stay woke. No woman left behind.